Welcome to the first ever Talkback Live here on Shalom TV. I'm Mark Golub. We're coming to you now live from our Shalom TV studios in Greater New York City. And by the way, right now is 7 p.m. on Thursday. But this is Thursday evening. I apologize to all of you who may have been confused by one of the program alerts we gave out. Was it Thursday? This is Thursday, and you're watching us live right now at 7 p.m. on a Thursday night. And we're hoping that if you have the chance to do so, if you wish, you will call me and talk to me about anything you'd like to talk to me about. Now, if you're watching this program any other time than Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you're watching this program in repeat. And please don't call, because we aren't going to take phone calls, obviously, if the program is not live. But here at 7 p.m. on Thursday night, we're coming to you live so that you have the chance, if you wish, to call me and talk about anything you'd like. I want to give you our phone number, and we'll put it up on the screen. In fact, it's on the screen right now, 201-242-1142. And if the phone rings and no one picks up, I'm going to ask you to please be patient. It means that one of our lines is in use, or both of our lines are in use, and when that happens, it'll just ring and ring and ring, and I just hope you'll try calling back again. And incidentally, this is the first time we're doing this program, and basically the entire staff is here with me. They are wonderful people. They love Shalom TV, but more than that, they love you. And so Sloan is here, and Dara's here, and Carol's here, and Ilya's here, and Albert's here, and Jan is here. They're all here. And because it's the first time, there may be some kinks. So as we iron out the kinks, you'll be patient with us. Let me just tell the control room, Sloan, just scroll way up front, scroll way up. You're way behind, way behind. And the question is, why are we doing Talkback Live? And it's really because it's the only way I can literally get to speak to you. And so often I meet people who tell me how much they love Shalom TV, and it's enormously gratifying to me, and it's humbling to me, and I can't tell you how much it means to me. But rarely do I have a chance to engage in a conversation, to learn about you. And that's the problem with television. You can see me, or you see Tisha Bader, or Mordechai Becher, or Dr. Ruth Westheimer, or Mama Dani, or all the fabulous men and women who appear every week here on Shalom TV. You see them. We can't see you. I can't see you as I would if I were speaking to you in front of if I'm in a live audience. There you'd be, and you'd react, and I'd hear you, and I'd see you, and I'd get a sense of how you're feeling about whatever the program is. On television, I can't do that. None of us can. So this is a way for me to meet you and to get to know you a bit. And so even if you wouldn't typically call a television channel, most of us don't tend to call television channels. Even if you don't typically do so, I hope tonight you'll call me. And we have viewers from all over the country who are watching Shalom TV. They're watching on Cablevision's Optimum, and on RCN, and on Atlantic Broadband, and on Hotwire Communications, and Blue Ridge Communications, and Metrocast. And maybe some of you watching right now are watching Shalom TV on Roku, or online on your computer or your mobile phone or your tablet. Anyway, I just hope you'll call me, introduce yourself, and give me a sense of what you like, or how you'd like to see Shalom TV add to this programming, add to Shalom TV programming. Or I invite you to call me and just tell me how you feel about Jewish life today and the Jewish future. What are your hopes and your fears for the state of Israel and for American Jewry, especially after Pew? Or you simply may have a question about Jewish life, or about something you've seen on Shalom TV, or something you've heard me teach or say, please feel free to ask me any question you'd like. And you know, we also have many, many viewers who are not part of the Jewish community, but who are part of other religious communities. Many in the Christian world watch Shalom TV, and they send us, you send us, the most wonderful and encouraging and affirming emails and letters. I'd love to hear from you as well. I want to hear from everyone. That's why we're calling this hour Talkback Live. We talk to you all day. Talk back to us. Talk back to me. And when you call, here are some of the questions I'd love to ask you. You know, who are you? Who are you as a viewer who watches Shalom TV? Excuse me one second. Dara has a note for me. Very nice. Is this person on the phone now? Oh, I got it. By the way, lo and behold, Dara came in and told me our phones have lit up. And I have Saul waiting from Cedarhurst and Sam waiting for me. Saul and Sam, let me get to you in 1 second. I just want to know, I just want to say in general, the questions that I want to ask Saul and Sam and everyone are, how long have you been watching Shalom TV? Where do you live? Which programs do you enjoy the most on Shalom TV? And by the way, this is a very important question I'm asking anybody who has the time and is willing to make this call. We have scheduled our programs, you know, from early morning when we begin with children's programming, right through the end of the day. And we do our best to imagine the times that you would like to see programs the best. What would we think? What do we think you'd like to be watching at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.? And for that matter, 10 p.m., 1 a.m., 3 in the afternoon, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. We've created our own program schedule. I can talk to you about that later if we get to it. But it would be wonderful for me to hear from you if there are times of programs that you know they're on, but they don't fit your schedule, and you would like us to sort of rearrange the programming schedule. I'd love to hear. For all I know, by the way, we're doing a wonderful job, and you love the programs right where they are. But I'm interested enormously in programming television that works for you. Okay, our phone number is 201-242-1142. And lucky us, we're going to start by speaking to Saul in Cedarhurst. Saul, thank you so much for calling. I don't hear Saul. Is he there? Again, we'll work all the kinks out.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Rabbi.
you, Saul. You're calling from Cedarhurst?
Yes.
How long have you been watching Shalom TV?
I'm sorry.
How long have you been watching Shalom TV?
I think they got it fixed.
Saul, I should have said one thing to you and to Sam who's waiting and anybody who calls. When you are on the air, we ask you to turn your television set down. There's a delay. It's a delay true of every television channel in America, so that if you're listening to us through your television and not through the telephone, if you're calling, you'll have a terrible time understanding what's going on. So, Saul, do me a favor, turn your your television set down and tell me if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Saul?
Yes, I can.
Good. How long have you been watching Shalom TV?
Basically about 7 months.
That's lovely. How did you find us?
Accidentally. And I thought Kamotzi Shelo Rov, I thought it was the most marvelous thing in the world.
Very
to find
good.
such a program and a channel that had so many interesting and important things on for us.
That's lovely to hear. So what do you enjoy most about the Shalom TV programming?
It's variety, really. That I was going to make one suggestion.
Please.
When you ask what else should we put on.
Absolutely.
And I think that my suggestion was that we should look at actually learning methods in different schools to see what really is going on. As an example, I don't know if we've had a yeshiva discussed or talked about, or a Hebrew school or a Sunday school where I taught many years ago. That each one is very different, and some people don't understand what they are.
Saul, tell me one thing about your own Jewish life. Are you affiliated with a synagogue? Do you care a lot?
Yes, I am.
Tell me a little bit about it.
I have a very bad back that I was unfortunate to get 3 years ago, which stopped my walking 1.25 miles from my home in Cedarhurst to Rabbi Weinberg's shul in Lawrence. And I now go to Yeshiva Mesivta Teres Yaakov, which is a yeshiva that has a terrific congregation too.
That's lovely to hear. Saul, it's so nice that you were our first caller on Talkback Live. I hope you watch Shalom TV all the time, and if you can, every now and then, send me an email or a letter. I'd love to hear from you.
My wife loves the travelogues that you have, and she hopes that there'll be more of them. I'm sure that they will.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Saul. I hear a dial tone. Okay. On my list, it says that Sam from, and Sam, I'm very apologetic. I don't recognize where you're from. Are you there, Sam?
Yes, it's me.
Sam,
Rabbi.
where are you from?
Excuse me?
Where are you from?
I'm from Sayville, New York.
Where is that?
That's in Long Island.
Okay, very, very good. How long have you been watching Shalom TV, Sam?
Several months. You sound different on the phone than you do on TV, by the way.
I can't help that. I'm really the same person.
I know. You're very good. I really like watching you, and I like most of your shows.
Thank you.
And I also, the Date to Mate, I really was interested in that. Are you going to have any future Date to Mates?
Isn't it a wonderful series?
Yeah, the series. Yeah, I love that series.
But I don't know if everybody watching right now knows what you're referring to. We have a series called From Date to Mate.
Right.
It is an original series created by our own Sloan Copeland, writer and director extraordinaire, and he's really the genius behind much of what you see technically here on Shalom TV. And he created the series for us, From Date to Mate. It's a 7-episode series. We are trying, by the way, I will be very honest with you, Sam. It's only a matter of money. It's an expensive series to produce. We are looking right now for sponsorship of a second season of From Date to Mate. And Sloan is ready to absolutely write the next series as soon as we can get it funded. But it pleases me that you like From Date to Mate. I'm very, very proud of it.
Oh, it's really fantastic. You got interested in it, and I could, excuse me, I couldn't wait to watch the next chapter. You know, then when it went to chapter 7, I said maybe he's got chapter 8, chapter 9, but I think you stopped at chapter 7.
We did. Well, I want you to know, Sloan is right now on the controls. He's hearing everything you say. Sloan, it's a compliment to you, Sloan. Mazal tov.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Sam, as soon as we can, we will get another 7. Yeah.
Could I ask you?
Of course.
I watched the previous program that you had with this professor. What's his name?
Charles Small.
What's his name?
Charles Small.
And Mr. Hall, is that the other man's name from Israel?
The man who you saw just before this program is named Charles Small. He's the founder and the executive director of ISGAP, the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. And he responded to a professor that we had on yesterday who supports the ASA boycott, academic boycott of Israel. I thought Charles Small was out of this world. Did you enjoy hearing him?
Yeah. The question I asked was, when you stated that he was a nice guy, that got to me a little bit. Because, and you also mentioned that somebody who was ignorant may be different than somebody who was anti-Semitic. Is that correct? I think you mentioned that.
Sam, you are quoting me correctly.
Right. So my opinion on this is being ignorant doesn't excuse a man from for being an anti-Semite, because he to me, be just as dangerous as a man who knows exactly what he's doing. What's your opinion on that?
Look, I think you make a very important point that anybody who adopts a behavior, and this was Charles Small's point as well, if somebody adopts a behavior which is basically in some way either insulting or worse, in some ways denies the legitimacy of the Jewish people or the state of Israel, and very often if they deny one, they're denying both. And as I said on the program, very often anti-Semitism is now veiled as anti-Israel rhetoric. I believe you are correct. We must be vigilant, and it is very, very damaging to the Jewish people. My only distinction I was trying to make with Charles, and it took me a while to make it clear to him, and I want to make sure I make it clear and to anyone who's watching, including yourself, is that I believe the way one handles somebody who is naive and ignorant is very different than the way one responds to or how one handles a malicious anti-Semite. My sense from the Stanford professor was that there was no malice in him. He was simply, sort of, and again, somebody said to me, are you being nice to him when you say to him about him that he's sort of been duped and seduced? And what does that say about him? But my sense was there are many people who have sort of a liberal agenda, and from my perspective, if you're a liberal, you've got to be pro-Israel. But there are some on the far left who have been seduced into thinking that the state of Israel is a colonial power that is somehow abusing the Palestinian people. And here's a lovely guy who didn't know better. Again, I don't know how many people who are watching right now watch the two parts we had. And I apologize. His last, he had a hyphenated name, the professor from Stanford, David somebody Liu, and he was a professor of Chinese studies at Stanford University. Charles Small is also at Stanford University. And what he basically said was he didn't know very much. And I pointed out to him that for all of the criticism of Israel by the ASA in somehow denying academic freedom to Palestinian students, the very person who was in the forefront of that Palestinian effort is today studying for his master's degree at Tel Aviv University.
Oh, really?
That's not somebody who's being denied academic freedom by the state of Israel.
Right.
And what the professor said was, well, there must be a reason. The reason has nothing to do with academic freedom. There are those in the Palestinian community, no matter what Israel does, they want to see Israel removed from the Middle East. They don't want her to be the state of Israel. And they will criticize Israel for any reason. And what they hope to do is get people like the professor at Stanford to support them. I think my own feeling was that his name was David Palumbo Liu. And David Palumbo Liu, I believe, learned something from his discussion with me on Shalom TV. And my only thing I'm saying to you, Sam, and you may disagree with me, if you're dealing with somebody who's sort of a lovely guy and is ignorant, my job, your job, our job, the reason we have Shalom TV is to educate. As people are educated, you sometimes can move them. That's what I hope Shalom TV does. And that's what I hope did happen with Palumbo Liu.
I was in the service when I was in the service in the Marine Corps. And in the Marine Corps, you don't have too many Jews. There's a couple, but mostly they come from the South. They come from the North, everywhere. But I was practically the only Jew. I think I was the only Jewish guy in my platoon.
Did you say you were in the Marines?
Yeah. And this guy comes up to me, and he's from Kentucky, and he says to me, "What's a Jew? You're a Jew? What's a Jew? I thought you had tails between your legs. That's ignorant." That when he said that, I knew he wasn't anti-Semitic. He was ignorant.
That's right.
But the people that I talk about that are ignorant are smart, but they still have the preconceived notions about Jews, and they do not want to learn about Jews, and therefore they become anti-Semitic without really knowing Jews.
You make a very good. Where did you serve in the Marines?
All over. I served in North Africa and Camp Lejeune. It was all over Spain.
It's been an honor to meet you on the phone. One day I may meet you in person.
It's an honor to meet you, Rabbi, really.
Thank you so much. Keep watching, Sam.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
Thank
I
you
will.
very, very much. We're going to take another call. We're going to go to Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and on our phones is Marcus. Marcus, welcome.
Yes.
Marcus, turn your television down.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm walking away from it.
Very good. How can I help you, Marcus?
Well, I'm calling to express my gratitude about Hebrew classes that you're teaching on Shalom TV.
Thank you. You watch From the Aleph Bet?
Yes. When my package was a new package on Optimum TV,
Yes.
and while playing with the remote control,
Yes.
I found out that you were teaching for the very beginning the Shin.
The Shin. That was lesson 1.
Lesson 1, and I said, "Oh Lord, I've been asking, I've been wanting to learn something. It's a couple of letters, and now I'm so thankful. I learned the whole alphabet."
I am very proud of you. By the way, I should tell our audience, I don't know if everybody watching right now, maybe some of you have never seen From the Aleph Bet, and maybe some of you are already fluent in Hebrew, but From the Aleph Bet is the single most popular series on Shalom TV, and every single week we get request after request for either individual episodes, or you can actually, for a donation of $180 to the nonprofit Shalom TV, we send you as a gift a package of all 20 of the series 1.
Oh my goodness, that's good information.
And we also have, by the way, and this is true for anybody, whether you make a donation or whether you don't make a donation. If you go on our website, I don't know, by the way, Dara, whether we can even show what the website looks like, but if you go on our website, anybody who wishes can download worksheets that we've prepared that go with all 20 lessons are From the Aleph Bet. And one of the things I say on the program, by the way, here is the website, and you can go on our website, www.shalomtv.com.
The old-time way. I'm still tippy-toeing on the computer.
Okay. Well, you can also just be in touch with me with a letter or an email, and as you can see, all of those are individual lesson plans and worksheets that go with every episode. That right there is a worksheet where you can see first the lesson, then I give you a worksheet that you can fill out. And what I also do for you is I give you a completed worksheet that you can then compare your answers to and make sure that your answers are correct. And there are 20 lessons. And what I'm very, very pleased about is, you know, we get people writing us all the time. You know, Sloan, I want to put up an email that I received because it was about Shalom TV's From the Aleph Bet. It is an extraordinary series. And what makes me so pleased is that there have been people who write me and say to me, I have been unable to learn Hebrew my entire life. But I had a 9-year-old boy, 9 years old, Joshua from Tucson, sent me this lovely email. I get chills just telling you about it.
I see.
Joshua from Tucson writes me, "Thank you, Rabbi, for helping me learn my Hebrew alphabet. I hope other young children learn from you as well." So we have people who are 9 years old and 90 years old who write me and say, you know, I have never been able to learn Hebrew.
And I'm hooking my grandchildren into the Hebrew language.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. I want you to put up slide number 5, Sloan. And this is the kind of email we get, and it is so important for us to have feedback. This feedback is live. What a kick this is to be able to talk to people on the phone with you. But the other way that is important for us is for you to take the time to email. And I said at the top of the show, most of us don't call television channels. Most of us don't email to television channels. And yet many people go out of their way, and it's extraordinarily kind of you to email us and to send us emails. Do we have email number 5 that I can show people? Here it is. And no, that's not number 5. This is from Andrea Rogers. If you find Andrea Rogers' email, that's my number 5. I apologize. This is her email, and it says, "My kids and I enjoy the lessons on the Aleph Bet." The program is actually called From the Aleph Bet. Alan Orich gave us that name. They are the easiest to follow and enjoyable to watch, and we have found online. Is there a way to get a complete set of these teachings? We have only found the first 3 episodes of Lesson 1 online. And my point to all of you who are trying to learn Hebrew, many people have said to me, it is the single best way to learn, not only to pronounce Hebrew words, and many of you watching right now, you'll know exactly what I mean. If you were brought up as an American Jew here, and you went to a Talmud Torah, you know, when I was a kid, it was Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And after school, we'd all go over to wherever the religious school was. I was in Danbury, Connecticut at the time. And we'd go and we'd study Hebrew, and we'd sit in a classroom. And when they said, we want you to learn Hebrew, they didn't mean to learn to read Hebrew. What they really meant was, we want you to be able to sound out Hebrew words. We want you to pronounce Hebrew words. So we're going to teach you the letters, and then we just throw letters at you, and you kind of read the words. We don't care if you know any word you're reading. And most of us just learned by rote. And I remember sitting in a class, and the teacher would go all around. I'm sure I'm talking about something you've experienced as well. And I'd be waiting my turn to read, and they'd give us X amount of time, and how far could you get through the V'ahavta in 30 seconds or 1 minute, you know, and we would just rush, and I would be practicing. Most kids today don't practice, but I would be practicing to see how I was doing against all the kids who read before me. But I didn't have a clue what the words meant. Not a clue.
Well, it happened to me from a Spanish, from the Spanish version, you know, now that I'm learning, I just like to congratulate you, and I don't know, I ask the Lord to bless you.
Oh, thank you. You keep watching, and you keep staying in touch with me.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Anyway, my point to finish it is that From the Aleph Bet teaches you not only to pronounce Hebrew, but it teaches you a language. Hebrew is a language. You know, the word tzedakah has a meaning. The word kadosh has a meaning. The word lechem has a meaning. The word melech has a meaning. And the phrase Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, has a meaning. And if a person has a sense of what they're saying takes on, it just flies. And one of the things we do on From the Aleph Bet is there's never a word taught to you on that program where you don't know what it means as well. Anyway, I could talk about From the Aleph Bet all the time, but right now I want to talk to Michael, who's calling from East Meadow. Michael, thank you for calling Talkback Live here on Shalom TV. Michael, turn your television down and please join us. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for calling, Michael. What's on your mind?
I was just wondering. I just wanted to comment that I do like the diversity of your guests. Yesterday's program was enlightening, but I was wondering how an ordinary person like myself would get involved in counteracting the BDS movement.
By the way, that's a superb question, and the answer I'm going to give you is one that I believe if a David Harris were here, or a Malcolm Honlai were here, or Abe Foxman were here, or for that matter, if a Yossi Klein Halevi were here, or if any one of the Alan Dershowitz was here, and you asked him that question, all of them would encourage you to do two things. One, first of all, they'd encourage you to become as knowledgeable as you can. And this is not, I don't mean this to be self-serving. One of the things I hope you and the other viewers of Shalom TV, many people are very supportive of the state of Israel, and at the same time, they're uncomfortable when they're in a room where Israel is being criticized. They don't feel comfortable enough knowing how to answer what is normally a very insidious, spurious criticism of the state of Israel. One of the things we do here is we have men on the left, we have women on the right, we have people talking all the time, but they all have one overarching theme. They love the state of Israel, even if they're critical of Israel. And what you hear here is information that can help you know more about the details that you must have at your fingertips or on your tip of your tongue to be able to answer anybody who is critical in an unfair way of the state of Israel. So number one, try to become as knowledgeable as you can. Read whatever you can. Be careful what you read. Read what you can and watch Shalom TV. That's number one. Then after that, try to find a community. I could say an organization. For me, they're the same. And whether you want to be involved with, for argument's sake, CAMRA, a group that fights anti-Israel presentations in the media, or you want to be involved with the AJC, the American Jewish Committee, which fights the BDS movement all the time, whether you want to be involved more with following the work that's done by JNF or work that's done by the FIDF, the Friends of the IDF, or if you want to be involved in the America-Israel Friendship League of Kenneth Bialkin. Right. Anyone, what you need to do is find, you have to find, by the way, an organization that is a community for you that speaks to you, where you enjoy the people. If you don't enjoy the people, it's the wrong place to be. But if you can find a group where you enjoy the people, who are engaged in not blind allegiance to anything, but who are serious about trying to understand the complexity of the Middle East, the extent to which Israel is in an impossible position and is bending over backwards with at least one arm tied behind its back, and you want to become articulate in fighting the BDS movement, my suggestion to you is, my hope for you is, you find a community where you are comfortable, and then you just go to work with them. Does it make sense to you?
Absolutely. Being a veteran, I'm also a member of the FIDF.
A fabulous organization, the Friends of the IDF. By the way, I should give our viewers a program alert. We always cover the FIDF Gala, the Friends of the IDF Gala, at the Waldorf Astoria. It happens once a year, and we have exclusive coverage of that. And within, I believe, this coming week, in fact, it should air Sunday at 7 p.m., you will see the gala, this last gala that they had, extraordinary, where we get to talk to Israeli soldiers and some of the extraordinary men and women who were there. And you'll see what the Friends of the IDF is all about. You obviously know, but I want our viewers to know as well. Anyway, I thank you so much for calling, and I hope you'll call often. And be in touch with me if you can every now and then by email. Thank you.
It's a fantastic show.
Thank you so much.
We're
going to take a quick break, and then we'll continue with your calls. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that the phones have lit up and are stay lit. And Donald, in Massachusetts, we're going to get to you right away. Stay right there. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Our first ever Talkback Live, and I've had the great pleasure of speaking to some lovely people so far. I invite any of you who can, pick up the phone and call me. We're going to go to Duxbury, Massachusetts for a moment and talk to Donald. Donald, how are you?
Hello, Rabbi Golub.
A pleasure to talk to you. Where do you watch Shalom TV, Donald?
I'm glad to tell you. I watch Shalom TV from my home in Duxbury, Massachusetts, which is about 35 miles south of Boston.
On which system?
I watch you on Verizon, and I've enjoyed you from the inception.
Well, I am very
I come
flattered.
from the Bronx. I come from New York City. But I'm a physician, and for 32 years I've been in Massachusetts.
What is your specialty?
Excuse me?
What is your specialty?
My specialty is diagnostic radiology, but I'm actually calling you as a human being, as a Jew, and as a member of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs, of which I'm on the executive committee.
Good for you.
And in that capacity, I'm the international chair of a signature event, which the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs has been conducting for 14 years. And for the past 5 years, up until this year, I have been the chair of the event, and now I'm the international chair, and we've expanded our geographic distribution. And and this particular signature event is known as the Worldwide Wrap. And during this...
I'm sorry, we lost it. The Worldwide what?
Wrap, like you wrap...
The Worldwide Wrap.
Yes, and
as
what we do is we celebrate the mitzvah, Hashem's mitzvah of tefillin.
That's wonderful.
So what we do is we encourage men and women. We teach about Rashi's daughter, of course. So this is the issue is tefillin, Hashem's tefillin, and we encourage others to teach about, learn about, and contemplate Hashem's tefillin.
That's wonderful.
And so,
Donald, are you part of it? Are you part of an Orthodox synagogue?
I daven. I daven in the conservative synagogue known as Mishkan Tefillah, which is 156 years old. Because I live in Duxbury, I'm not Shomer Shabbos. I have to come to shul.
I understand.
And I live 45 miles away in Cranberry country, with that commercial that we see in New York of men standing in cranberry fields.
Yes.
That's my neighborhood. That's my grand concourse.
Okay, I only have one more moment. Donald, tell me, when is the event happening?
The event occurs around the world. We have registrations from 15 countries, including Eretz Yisrael. The event is February 2nd.
February 2nd. And if somebody wants to sign up or be part of it, how do they do it?
What they do is they go on to this would be wonderful, because when you sign up, you're acknowledging your support of those who are celebrating the mitzvah. So if they go on to the FJMC, Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs.org, FJMC.org, Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs.org.
I wish you all the best. I have to move on. I apologize. I've got so many people now backed up, but I wish you all the best, and I hope you stay in touch with me. I appreciate the call, and you're doing something very, very special, and I hope everybody who is interested in what you're doing goes out of their way to sign up and is part of that website. Thank you very much. We go to Dennis in Pike County, Pennsylvania. Dennis, how are you?
Oh, they're doing good.
Dennis, how do you watch Shalom TV?
Through Blue Ridge Cable in
Blue Ridge
Pennsylvania.
Cable. By the way, for everybody watching, no matter what system you're watching us on, or whether you're on Roku or you're watching us online, Blue Ridge Communications was the very first cable system that put Shalom TV, the Shalom TV channel, on. And Mark Masonheimer is an extraordinary television executive. So for all of you who are watching us on Blue Ridge Cable Communications, I want to say a special, I appreciate you. So what is your point?
My point is, I found your station a year ago. I've been studying religion for like 25, 30 years. And I have read the Kabbalah from Babylon. And I studied religion that I understand that the education that you give to people to understand what the Jewish people are about, because a lot of people don't understand about Jewish life, period. And it is a gift that you give to people to enlighten them to know what the story is and how things came about. The Jewish people are the biggest survivors in the world. And if people would only learn the history of Israel and being Jewish and what they had to go through, it would be a blessing to them. And then their troubles, they would say, I don't have that bad of troubles. They had worse troubles than I had. But it's the best education station I have ever seen. Right now, I'm about to study the Torah, and it's an education. I'm learning a lot. And
I am very, very flattered, and I'm very appreciative. I can't thank you enough for calling. Your words fill me. I hope you keep watching, and every now and then email me. And if we have another show like this, I hope you call again. Thank you very much. We're going to go to Rockville Center, closer to home. And Jay is on the phone. Jay, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Jay. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Jay, how did you find Shalom TV?
I found Shalom TV on television, but I just want you to know how much me and my wife love you.
Oh. I love you. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name's Aileen.
Aileen. So Jay and Aileen, and I want you to know, I hope you get the sense here. This has been so thrilling an experience for me because of people like you and your wife, you and Aileen. I mean, Jay, you sound like a lovely, committed human being and Jew. So I am honored that you would call me, and I'm so flattered that you enjoy the program. Tell me this, which programs on Shalom TV somehow mean the most to you?
The one that means the most to me is that every one that I've seen that you've been part of. I went on an ultimate mission to Israel. I was there this year with my wife to collect money to help fight terrorism. And you actually did an interview with the head of the Sharat Houdin, the Sana Dasan Litna, and
Oh, did we lose Jay?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Well, it is very, very gratifying to hear it, and I appreciate the call. I want you to keep watching, and I invite you also, Jay, when you get a chance, you email me and tell Aileen I love her too. We're going to go to Croton, New York, and I welcome Alan. Alan, thank you for calling. Alan, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you for calling me, Alan. How did you find Shalom TV?
Well, I was channel surfing, Rabbi, and I think I told the screener that I'm not Jewish, and I was fascinated by watching the lessons you were giving in the Hebrew alphabet.
Yes.
And after every demonstration, you said what sounded like Mitsuyan. Can you tell me what that means?
Yes, by the way, I'll just mention, Alan, that many people ask me, what does Mitsuyan mean? Mitsuyan is the Hebrew word for excellent.
Oh, I
so
see.
I'm telling you, Alan, Mitsuyan. Alan, you say you're not Jewish. What community are you part of?
I was raised as a Catholic, and I was, and over the years I left it, and now I'm a Unitarian Universalist. And
that's lovely.
We have lots of Jewish members in our congregation.
Now, Alan, even though you're not Jewish, you find the programming on Shalom TV meaningful to you.
Yes, some of it. I don't say, I have to admit, I don't watch it all that much, but it's a kind of refuge when all you see on TV is a lot of stuff you've seen before, or else it's just plain, not worth watching. And I found, I watched one show of a young Jewish guy who was raised Orthodox and became disillusioned with it. And I think it was a very compassionate study of the struggles that he and his
well, Alan, I appreciate the fact that you take the time to call. I love the fact that so many people who are not Jewish really embrace Shalom TV, and you're a very, very important part of our viewing community. Thank you very much. Stay in touch with me all the time. We go to Brooklyn, New York, and I'm pleased to welcome Esther. Esther,
Hello?
Thank you for calling. How are you, Esther?
Okay.
How do you watch us on Shalom TV? Do you have cable
I
vision?
watch on TV.
Channel 138?
Yeah, 138.
How long have you been watching?
Oh, I've been watching for quite a long time, since they have it on Cablevision.
That's lovely. What do you enjoy most about Shalom TV?
I love learning. I enjoy about the Aleph Bet. Plus, also, I was never able to read from a prayer book, and I never went to yeshiva, and I've learned how to read from prayer books.
By the way, I hear this all the time, Esther, and I'm very, very, it's
Where
so
do you
gratifying.
have synagogue?
Yes. Esther, I appreciate so much, A, you're watching, and B, you're caring enough to call me. And I hope you'll always watch. And if you can, every now and then, I don't know if you ever do emails. So many people do, many people don't. Email me. I want to stay in touch with you. Thank you. Esther from Brooklyn. We go to Babylon, New York, and it's a pleasure to welcome Daryl. Thank you for calling, Daryl. How are you?
Very, very good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I have a question. See, my
Please.
father's Jewish. My mother, it was not. So growing up, it was kind of, both sides kind of pulled you away. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I do.
And I watch you, and I really respect you. You've changed my mind a lot of things, and I really like listening to you. So I was wondering, what are your feelings toward that? Can you become Jewish when your father's bloodline is not?
By the way, Daniel, is it Daryl or Daniel?
Daryl.
Daryl, you're saying to me that when your father was Jewish, but your mother was not. How were you raised?
More Christian.
And how do you feel inside yourself now?
Well, I always felt kind of mixed because it was, you pull one side said do this, the other side did. Both sides were kind of guilty in that, I must say. But then I ran into your show and listened to you, and I don't know. I've got questions now, and I've been listening to the Aleph Bet and all that. So I'm trying to learn some Hebrew. And I was just wondering, I was wondering if it's possible. Can you become Jewish when your bloodline is not? I was always
First of all, it is 100% possible. And you should understand two things. And the people who watch Shalom TV, Daryl, really span the entire spectrum of Jewish life and Jewish religious life. And we have Orthodox Jews watching, and Reform Jews watching, and Conservative Jews watching, and Reconstructionist Jews watching, and Renewal Jews watching, and Chabad Jews watching, and Young Israel Jews watching, and we have Chavurah Jews watching. And the truth is that your opportunity is to find a community where you are Jewishly comfortable. Within the Reform movement, Daryl, and it's very important that you hear me, within Reform Judaism, if you decided to identify as a Jew, if somebody said to you, Daryl, what are you? And you said, I'm a Jew, and you wanted to be part of the Jewish people, and you wanted to in some way sustain Jewish life, and to the extent to which you could sustain the state of Israel. If you made just that commitment, that's all, within the Reform movement here in America, you would be automatically Jewish already. And I hope you hear me. From the Reform Jewish perspective, Daryl, the question is not about what you have to do, but who you are and what you want to, how you want to express yourself within the religious community. If you want to join the Jewish people and you find yourself a Reform synagogue where you're comfortable, it's what I said to an earlier caller who's asking about how do you get involved in fighting the BDS movement. You find a community that you're comfortable with.
Right.
I'm hoping Shalom TV makes our viewers comlearn. You need to find a synagogue community where you're comfortable.
Maybe want to learn more.
Thank you. Anyway, I want you to understand.
With the Aleph Bet, and then I said, wait, this is interesting, and I listened to you. And I'd like to meet you one day. Actually, I think you're. I know you seem to be on to something.
Daryl, I would love to meet you, and you can call my office anytime. Anyway, if you want to join a Reformed congregation, you have to know anything. If you want to join a more traditional part of the community, you would have to have a conversion ceremony like any non-Jew would. But understand that from the Reform Jewish perspective, if you join a synagogue and become passionate about Jewish life, there's nothing you have to do because your father is Jewish. And in the Reform movement, if either parent is a Jew, either parent, and the individual, him or herself, commits to Jewish life, the Reform community considers you a Jew. Anyway, you're a lovely human being. Please stay in touch with me, Daryl. We're going to go to Bronx, New York, to the Bronx, and it's a pleasure to welcome Moshe. Moshe, welcome. Is Moshe there?
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for calling the program.
It's a pleasure.
Moshe, how do you watch Shalom TV? Where do you watch?
I watch here in the Bronx, 138.
Very, very good. What synagogue are you affiliated with?
I'm affiliated in the Synagogue of Sons, the Congregation Sons of Israel.
Wonderful. You are part of an Orthodox synagogue?
Yes.
It's interesting, and by the way, our viewers should really notice this. We've had somebody who is in Jewish call. We've had members of virtually every piece of the Jewish world, and they're all sort of in one lovely embrace through Shalom TV. If somebody says to me, are you a Reform channel? No. Are we an Orthodox channel? No. Are we no. We are, and I'm now quoting Yossi Klein Halevi, we're a Klal Yisrael channel.
I feel so good about that.
Tell me, what would you like me to know from you?
I want you to know from me that on next Shabbos, I'm going to have my bar mitzvah.
Mazal tov. That's fabulous. How old are you?
Also, I feel like when I see your show, you are like my own rabbi.
Oh, I want to kiss you.
My teacher and my rabbi.
I want to kiss you. How old are you?
I'm 54.
And you've never had a bar mitzvah ceremony before?
Never before.
Okay. Well, everybody should understand that you become, in the Jewish tradition, you become a bar mitzvah automatically by reaching your 13th birthday. But what we're talking about here is when do you have a ceremony? And here's someone who's never had a ceremony, and lo and behold, you're going to have what I am so proud of you and happy for you. What's the date again?
It's going to be on the 18th.
The 18th of this month?
Of this month.
Very, very good. So
And I feel that I've learned so much with you. You've been my teacher on Judaism 101. I love it so much. You've done a stupendous job.
thank you.
And also, the Aleph Bet has been so great.
Thank you.
You're such a wonderful, wonderful rabbi.
I am, by the way, I am
And your
humbled.
show is magnificent.
Thank you.
It's like going to the promised land.
Oh, I want to meet you also in person. You're a lovely, lovely. Listen,
I really want to meet you in person too,
I
Rabbi.
would love it. So I'll be thinking of you on the 18th, and it's a wonderful simcha. And again, if we had any input in your successful journey that brings you to your own bar mitzvah ceremony, I am grateful beyond. And mazal tov to you, my friend.
Thank you. My rabbi name is Rabbi Moshe Fuchs.
Moshe Fuchs, would you wish him my best?
And he's at 2521 Kruger Avenue in the Bronx.
In the Bronx. Okay. Have a wonderful simcha, my friend.
Thank you so much. And
Mazal tov.
Mazel tov.
We're going to take one very, very quick break, our last break, and then we'll come back with a couple more phone calls. And what a wonderful hour this has been for me. And the Shalom TV audience is extraordinary. You are extraordinary. And it's nice to hear, the type of things that are said about Shalom TV or me. But the truth is, I am really just a reflection of you. And I'm very, very, how lucky am I? And how lucky are the people who are in the control room here that we work on a channel where you can have the kind of impact and the kind of embrace that you've just heard. Anyway, stay with us. One more break, and then we'll wrap up with a couple more phone calls. We have time for one more call, I think. We're going to go to Massapequa, New York. Joan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Joan, you watching Massapequa?
Yes.
What would you like me to know?
I'd like you to know that I'm Catholic. I used to be a television producer for a Catholic television station. Your pacing of your shows, your message, I feel you're like an instrument. I've contributed to GEM through you. I've become so pro-Israel. I go to my Catholic prayer group every week. I try to spend, give them your message. I just think you're doing more than you know for your people, which I feel are part of my people.
Joan, this call is so important to me, and it's important for our viewers to hear it as well. The fact that you're a Catholic and that you embrace Shalom TV and that in some sense we stand together. We just saw that gorgeous ADL commercial, Imagine.
Yes.
You are part of that, darling, and I thank you very much for joining me. I want to squeeze in one more quick call, Dara. Sybil from Highland Park. How are you, Sybil? Sybil, are you there? Did we lose Sybil? Sybil? Oh, too bad. No? She's gone? Okay. Sybil, thank you for calling. Look, the clock is going to grab us. This has been the first meeting, Talkback Live here on Shalom TV. We're going to do it often. There's so much more I want to hear from you, and it gives me a chance also to talk about Shalom TV, so we will do it again. I can't thank enough the people who are in the control room and who've made this program possible, to Sloan Copeland, who is more than a technical director. He is an extraordinary, accomplished human being who gives us his grace in so many ways. Sloan, thank you for putting this program together. Her name happens to be Dara Golub. Yes, she is my daughter. It is irrelevant to the work she does here. She's an extraordinary associate director of Shalom TV, and so much of what you see is because of Dara. Dara, fabulous job. Our producer is Carol Lilienthal, who's joined us and is, again, just a lovely person who does remarkable work for us. Michael Paley put the whole show together technically. Michael, thank you so much. And Ilya Arbit, who is right here. He was on the phones, he was on the teleprompter, he was doing so many good things, and he really makes everything possible for us. My special thanks to you for being part of the Shalom TV community. And Ruth, I love you so much. Thank you, my friends. Until the next time, be well.